Hello gardeners, and welcome to my channel, DK's Garden Oasis. I am Debbie. I'm a master gardener and butterfly raising hobbyist. I hope everyone enjoyed celebrating the 4th of July. I celebrated with my dad. He turned 89 years old on July 4th, and I guess he's a bit of a firecracker. Today I'm going to give you an update on my garden, what things are blooming and growing in the garden. It's a midsummer tour. Since this is mid-season, I do fertilize with a slow-release fertilizer around July 4th. Make sure you stay till the end where I share a garden tip about growing peppers in your garden. In my zone, 5B, the heat is really turning on right now, and we've had a little bit of rain, so the garden is really thriving right now. I'm starting to see a little fruit on my tomatoes, and my flowers are starting to bloom as well. My dahlia patch, which I'll link the video above, is growing. I believe I have 100% germination. One is questionable, but that's not bad for, I believe I had over 30 different varieties. I'm very excited to see the patch when it's blooming. Now I just need to keep the rabbits away from the garden. I still have a lot of weeding to do, and that job is never ending. It's my least favorite job, but honestly, I sit and relax and listen to the birds and look at my garden, so that's a time that I enjoy. So I guess I don't mind weeding that much. So let's go around my garden and see what's growing and blooming right now. Okay, these are two raised beds that I have in a nearby town, and I was just experimenting with some vegetables and some flowers. So in both of these I generally have some marigolds, calendula. I have calendula, marigolds, some tomatoes, some squash, cucumbers, some beans, bush beans, and then some more calendula, some borage. This is supposed to be a good pollinator, and I do see a lot of pollinators coming to it. That I don't want. That is Japanese beetle. So I'm going to flick that guy off. I don't want him in the garden. And then I have some other tomatoes here. And then we go to the other one. These marigolds are huge. I don't know why they're so big. Some more tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, cucumbers, some more beans and calendula on the outside. There's the bee going to the borage. And I am growing just a couple of corn. It's like a decorative corn that I'm just experimenting with. And more calendula, some Roma tomatoes. This is beefsteak. This is a little bit different variety. It doesn't look like a tomato, but it's an heirloom tomato. And it's supposed to have purple, it has purple flowers, and I'm interested in trying those and seeing what the flavor of those tomatoes are. And again, these are just marigolds, but they are huge. And then in there I have some squash as well. So these are the two. I'm going to water these, and I check in on those depending on, I check in on these once or twice a week. I water, and I'm going to see if I have any beans. Let me go check again and see if I have any beans to pick. Thought I saw some cucumbers last time I was here. Oh, yep, there's a cucumber right there. So I'll watch that one. It might be ready in another week. As far as the beans, I see lots of flowers. Oh, there's a couple of string ones. Let me check the other side. And I might grab a couple of these beans that I see. Yeah, there's some beans here. I'm gonna go pick those. So yeah, these are the two beds that I'm experimenting with. And I think next year what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put strawberries, potatoes, and maybe a few tomatoes as well with some flowers. I wanna experiment a little bit with these. Okay, we're going to start with the area that I started weeding. This is just got a couple of new plants. That's a pawpaw tree. I have some zinnias, some cosmos. That's a butterfly bush right there. And then I've got some asters. More zinnias, some poppies. It's a hummingbird plant with a little red and yellow, and this is the last of my foxgloves. Some Rosa Sharon bushes, 9 bark over here. This is a 7 flower plant, and in the very top you can kind of see the blooms. Behind that I have a maple. These are my hanging baskets that were my flower pillows. You can see they're doing really well. And on the bottom I did put some dianthus, but I'm not too happy with how they are coming out. Either the bunnies are eating them. I don't have very many that are blooming. We have some alliums in here, lots of bee balm. There was a hummingbird moth here just a few minutes ago. I'll try to post that. And lots of bees. There are also, it's a honeysuckle. The hummingbirds love that plant in the back, but it is pretty, goes pretty crazy, so I have to prune that. See, it's attaching itself to my Rosa Sharon tree right now. And this is my other flower pillow, doing well. This is what I showed you earlier. This is where I have my milkweed and my fountain. And this is going crazy. This, I'm going to have to take out some of these senna plants because they've taken over and I can't even see my coneflowers. These are a couple of more plants for the butterflies, and I'll put the description of those above. I do see a couple of coneflowers coming up, and there are some in between here, but like I said, I'm going to take these down. Finish up here. This is my raised beds. This is the asparagus, so this one is a second year. And I have some asparagus growing right there, but you are supposed to wait till the 3rd year to eat it. These are all my first years. These are my peppers, and I have a good-hearted tomato in here. I did one in the raised bed and one in the grow bag to show the difference. They're looking about the same to me, and they're like cherry tomatoes. And as you can see, they're not very big plants. It's a determinate tomato. Some more peppers, spearmint from my winter sowing, some onions. I have to thin out my scallions here. And I think next year what I'm going to do is I'm going to do strawberries in one of these, not do so many onions, maybe just in a grow bag, do some scallions because I don't need this many onions. And then I definitely don't need this many peppers. So I have no heat peppers, I have shishitos, and then I have regular jalapenos. So I'm going to be having a lot of peppers. Up here I grew some tomatoes in baskets to see how they would do. So that's one. And then I have one more over here that's more like a determinate. I think this one was a bush tomato. So we'll see how those do. And now I'm going up onto the deck. This is my pink and purple lane. So this, again, I'll link the video that I planted these in. So they filled out quite well. These are just some of the flowers that I grew, and I'll put the name of these above. No flowers yet, but they're just about ready to bloom. And I believe these are the lace flowers. This is some status. I'm kind of late with this, but still put it in. This one's filling out well. Got some more. So all these containers are doing really well. I just want to fertilize mid-season. And as I said in the previous video, this is for a hummingbird just went over. I don't know if you heard that. This is for I pollinate. I am a master gardener and have to continue education. So I am going to monitor eggs on the milkweed and any pollinators that go to these particular plants. They gave you colors and types of flowers, and they're just trying to determine what flowers the pollinators like the best. I have some potatoes. Those are red Norland. This one isn't doing so good. Maybe they're just coming late. The Yukon Gold. A couple more pots here. Another tomato. Some lavender. This is pink. And then your traditional purple. Another potato. These are russets. These are going to be all my fall foliage flowers. They're growing quite well. And then this is my good-hearted in a grow bag. And as you can see from me watering and getting sunburn, mainly sunburn out here, from being in the bag probably. The leaves are a little scorched, but tomatoes are looking maybe a little bit smaller, but they're still good. So these are all the tomatoes, and I do have to start staking them all. And I'll show you the progress of these in another month or so. I've got my Brussels sprouts and artichokes. I grew a bunch of different kinds of eucalyptus in here. That's doing quite well. And just some other random seeds that I planted. This is just some dahlias that I put in a pot. My snapdragons are beautiful. Definitely going to be growing these again. I'm going to stake them better the next time. And now we'll go over to my dahlias and show you the progress of that. Show you my Greenstalk, and again I'll post that video of when I planted this. So these are all herbs, and that is doing quite well. I also planted another couple of tomatoes, and I have a couple of tomatoes in there. Those are from Proven Winners. And now I'll go over to my dahlias. Here's my dahlias. They're all doing really well. I did put the waste paper baskets around to keep the bunnies from eating, and I think one got in and started chewing on this one, which I'm not very happy about. So hopefully I can keep them out. I do have some weeding to do here. There is one that is questionable out of, I believe I had 30. One here that I'm not sure if it's coming up, and that was my bashful. So otherwise everything is doing pretty well. Okay, so these are all the Espoma products that I use to fertilize. I have tomato tone, obviously for tomatoes or vegetables. Next is garden, so you can use that anywhere in your garden. For flowers, it says bigger, faster growth. For flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. So it's a general fertilizer. We'll talk about Jacks later. Holly tone is for your evergreens, azaleas, and your hydrangeas. Flower tone is for your flowers. It's a blossom booster. I won't put that in the new plants. I'll put that for the established flowers. Plant tone is a general all-purpose. It's for anything, vegetables, trees, flowers, shrubs. And then we have berry tone, and that is for your strawberries and blueberries. And then Jack's products, I have Jack's Classic Petunia Feed and Jack's Classic Blossom Booster. So if you look at the back of this one in particular, it has how to plant for new and established. So for new beds, it says mix tomato tone into the top 4 inches of the soil at a rate of 3 pounds or 9 cups per 50 square feet. I just usually put a little scoop in. Establish, it's saying 14 days after planting, and you can use this from May through August. And it is saying apply 1 cup each side per 5 feet of row. So I just usually, it says 3 tablespoons for a narrow band. I just usually take a little scoop and put it in to the raised beds or into my grow pots. So those are the products that I use from Espoma and Jack's to fertilize mid-season. I hope you enjoyed seeing my midsummer garden, so make sure you give it a like and comment below your favorite part of your garden. In my next video, I'm going to be showing some love to my indoor plants that it's been neglected over the spring. I water, but they definitely need some repotting and pruning. I'm not as educated in growing indoor plants, but I have quite a few and I'll share my knowledge. In the late fall, I'll talk a bit more about your indoor plants, so make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell so you receive those videos. I still haven't seen a monarch egg in my garden, but when I checked my records, this is the week where I started seeing them in the past. So I'll be on the lookout for those. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'll continue in part 2 of the series, Attracting and Raising Monarchs, and this will be about the egg and the caterpillar stage. In my last video, I showed you a gourd that a Facebook friend had made for me, and it was the monarchs. And again, I'll link that video above of that. It's towards the end of the video. This one I had her make as well, and this is the swallowtail and the stages of the swallowtail. So they have the swallowtail butterfly, some dill and fennel, a caterpillar, there's an egg in there somewhere. So yes, she made this one for me as well. So make sure you check out her Facebook page, Ginger J's Painted Wares and Such. Now I'd like to share a garden tip about growing peppers in your garden. Thanks for watching and happy gardening. Bye-bye.